What if your greatest strength became your greatest weakness? What if you were chosen before birth for something extraordinary, but you kept getting in your own way? This is not just a story of muscles and might. This is the story of Samson, a man destined by God to deliver a nation, yet nearly destroyed by his own desires. But in his final moments, he teaches us something unforgettable, that even when we fall, redemption is still possible. Welcome to the Bible Stories with Gian channel. Stay with us as we uncover one of the most powerful stories in the Bible and what it means for you today. In the quiet town of Zorah, near the tribe of Dan, lived a man named Manoah and his wife. They were faithful Israelites, but they carried a deep sadness. They couldn't have children. They prayed for years, hoping God would answer, but silence remained. One day, everything changed. While Manoah's wife was alone in the fields, an angel of the Lord appeared. Glowing with divine light, the angel spoke words that would shape history. Though you are barren, you will have a son. But this child was to be different. He was to be a Nazirite dedicated to God from the womb. That meant no wine, no unclean food, and his hair was never to be cut. He would be set apart to begin the deliverance of Israel from their enemies, the Philistines. Manoah and his wife were stunned. They prayed again, asking for more guidance. God answered. The angel returned and repeated the instructions. Afterward, the angel ascended in the fire of their offering. They fell to the ground in awe. In time, the promise came true. The woman gave birth to a son and named him Samson, which means like the sun. From a young age, God's Spirit stirred within him. He was no ordinary child, strong beyond his years, bold, curious, full of energy. But he wasn't just born to be strong. He was born to lead. As Samson grew, his strength became legendary. He carried heavy loads like they were feathers, tamed animals with ease, and had the courage of 10 men. But Israel was still under the control of the Philistines, a cruel enemy. Samson's strength wasn't just physical, it came from God, but so did his calling, and with that came rules. As a Nazirite, he couldn't drink wine, touch the dead, or cut his hair. These weren't just rules, they were signs of his dedication to God. Still, Samson had a wild spirit. He was passionate, impulsive, and sometimes careless. He began to follow his desires instead of his destiny. One day, Samson saw a Philistine woman in Timnah and wanted to marry her. His parents warned him. She wasn't from their people. But Samson insisted. What they didn't know was that God was working even through this strange choice. On the way to see her, Samson was attacked by a lion. With bare hands, he tore it apart. The Spirit of the Lord had come upon him with power. Later, he found honey inside the lion's carcass. He ate it and gave some to his parents, breaking his vow by touching a dead body. At the wedding, Samson gave the Philistines a riddle. Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet. When they couldn't solve it, they tricked his wife into telling them the answer. Samson felt betrayed. In anger, he struck down 30 Philistines to settle the score. When Samson returned later, he found his wife had been given to another man. His anger burned. He captured 300 foxes, tied torches to their tails, and set the Philistine fields on fire. In retaliation, the Philistines killed his wife and her father. Samson struck back harder, then hid in a cave. His own people, 3,000 men from Judah, came to hand him over to the Philistines. Samson agreed to go as long as they didn't kill him themselves. As the Philistines came to seize him, the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him again. He broke the ropes and grabbed the jawbone of a donkey. With it, he defeated 1,000 Philistines. Victory, but at a cost. He was exhausted and cried out to God, "Will I now die of thirst?" God opened a rock and gave him water. Even in his anger and pride, God did not abandon him. Hey, if this story is inspiring you so far, don't forget to like this video. subscribe to Who Was, and share it with someone who needs encouragement. We bring stories of faith, courage, and purpose every single week. Let's keep going. Samson's name became feared across the land, but pride began to grow. He visited Gaza and spent the night with a prostitute. The Philistines planned to trap him, but Samson rose in the night, tore the city gates from their hinges, and carried them miles away. He still had strength, but his judgment was weakening. Then came Delilah. Samson fell in love, not knowing she had been bribed by the Philistines. She asked him over and over, "What is the secret of your strength?" At first he lied, but Delilah persisted, day after day. Eventually Samson gave in. "If my hair is cut, I will become like any other man." Delilah shaved his head while he slept. When he woke, the Lord's power had left him. The Philistines captured him, gouged out his eyes, and threw him into prison. Now, blind and broken, Samson was a prisoner grinding grain like an animal. The Philistines celebrated. Their enemy was finished, or so they thought. But in the shadows, Samson's hair began to grow, and with it, his strength and his faith returned. At a great festival, the Philistines brought Samson out to mock him. They didn't see what was coming. Samson was led to the central pillars of the temple. He placed his hands on them and prayed, "Lord, remember me. Strengthen me one last time." With a final burst of power, Samson pushed. The temple collapsed, killing thousands of Philistines, more than he had defeated in his entire life. Samson's final act was not just one of destruction, it was one of redemption. He gave his life to fulfill the calling placed on him from birth. His family buried him in the land where it all began. Though flawed and broken, Samson was still used by God. His story reminds us that you can be chosen and still struggle. You can fall and still rise. You can be broken and still be used. Samson's greatest victory came not in strength, but in surrender. In his final moment, blind and humiliated, he trusted God and fulfilled his purpose. So what does Samson's story mean for you? It means you're never too far gone. Your failure isn't final. God doesn't choose the perfect. He perfects those he chooses. If this story moved you, help us bring more powerful messages to the world. Like, comment, and subscribe to Who Was. And remember this, you too are a person of destiny. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Take care. God bless you all.